Hour number 2 this hour brought to us by Menards. When does the weather get a little better? Soon? When do the Cubs win 7-8 in a row? Soon? Sox are on fire.
There ain't no roses like it.
Guest free phone 644-6767. Fans talking to fans. Hi, doing everybody, Murph with you. And tell you what, I got a lot of different things. So if you wish to beat the crowd, famous phone number remains 644-6767. Going to look at what Lou could do tonight. Cubs in Atlanta for 3 games versus right-handed pitcher. Got to look at those lefty-righty splits, as they call them, huh? Maybe yes, maybe no. And the Chicago White Sox, they're going to be facing, right-hander tonight, and then back-to-back lefties in games, 2, 3, and 4. Here's something that I would imagine, there's no doubt about it, right, that Ozzie and Lou have looked at. All right, first of all, and the White Sox, how much on fire are they? Sox have won 10 of their last 13. That's 10-3. 500 record entering today, 25-25. First time the Sox have been at the 500 mark since falling under back on May 3rd. That means they've been on here since May 18th. Listen to this. Since May 18th, when the White Sox had a record of 15-22, 7 games under 500, they have picked up 7 games in the win-loss column to be 500. It's almost impossible to that quickly, from May 18th till now, go from 7 under to 500 and let you go, well, like they did. They won 10 out of their last 13. And here's what I look at, is total games behind. Now, when you're in second place, your games back is the same as your TGB, total games behind. On May 18, all right, when the Sox were 7 under, they were 5.5 behind Detroit. Kansas City was in second, 1 back. The Sox were 4.5 behind Kansas City. That's 5.5 behind Detroit, 4.5. That's 10. And they were 2 behind third place Minnesota. The White Sox were 12 total games back. Check that out on May 18th. And today, just 4 total games back. An amazing run. I think that Pod's had a lot to do with that. I heard some great discourse and discussion, intercourse, verbal style. That's the word. You can look it up. Sorry. Back and forth between the fans and Hampton Holmes. I believe that Pods is the jumpstart guy, the top of the order, though the pitching has been terrific, as Lawrence pointed out also. Pods has been there. But here's what I would do tonight if I were Lou Piniella. And then here's something that hopefully also Ozzie has looked at. The Cubs tonight Lou should, number one, against right-handed pitching, he should give Soriano the night off. He said, we don't know the severity of the knee, but he has a bad knee. We don't know how bad it is. Maybe it's nothing. Point is, he was off. The team had the off day yesterday. Give Soriano another day off. Well, who do you put in left field, Murph? The Hoff? No, maybe not yet. Let's look at Reed Johnson. Reed Johnson kills left-handed pitching. That's always been his forte. That's been known around baseball from day one. One of the main reasons one of the reasons that Jim Hendry jumped at the chance to grab Reed Johnson off the Toronto roster a year ago was that he beats the hell out of lefties. This year, 357 off lefties. Reed Johnson last year, all year, 333 off lefties. But he averages about 270 versus right-handed pitching. So tonight, you know what I do? Get some nice defense out there. Give Soriano the day off. He's been in the tank anyway, Soriano. Reed Johnson in left. Fuki, of course, in center. Bradley in right. Now, I don't know how much longer you can keep the Hoff on the bench and how much longer you're going to keep wheeling Derek Lee out there automatically. Tonight, you got to put the Hoff at first base. You got Johnson in left and the Hoff at first, left-handed bat, and it's over now. You can't keep rolling Soto out there if he's not going to be able to perform. And no one knows if it's the shoulder, the throwing, if it's the hand which slides off the bat. You got to put Coy Hill behind the plate tonight. So, Lou, I know you're listening. Is Lou listening down in Atlanta? Oh, you're not listening? Outfield left to right, Reed Johnson, Fukudome Bradley against right-handed pitching. Hill behind the plate, switch hitting, Hoff at first base. And your infield remains Fontenot at third, Terrio at short, and probably Blanco at second. Now, let's ask Sox fans. Oh, by the way, Vuk is on your side. Jeff Vukovich, Murph's Nationwide Insurance Agent of the Year. You know that Vuk is on your side for all your insurance needs. 30 years, same location, Family Guy, Sports Guy in Park Ridge, Jeff Vukovich. Now, Sox fans, you've been kicking this around also, right? Carlos Quentin. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. When he comes back, what do you do with him? Well, you put him in left field. What do you do then with Pods? Do you trust Pods in center field? Right now, I do. His legs may not last. He may break down in July or August, but you got to ride the hot pony. Right now, Pods is the hot pony. So when Carlos Quentin comes back, left field, Pods in center field until he proves he can't do it. But tonight and tomorrow and for the next month or 2 weeks or 3 months till Carlos Quentin comes back, you're going to have Pods in left. What I don't understand is why all of a sudden Brian Anderson is back on the bench for Dwayne Wise. Dwayne Wise is a nice ball player. Let me give you the splits. And this is in baseball when they tell you what a guy hits against lefties and what he hits against righties, which is the genesis of all platooning. This hour brought to you by Menards. What would you think if I told you that Brian Anderson hits right-handed pitching better than left-handed pitching? Last year, not a big split difference, but last year Brian Anderson hit .238 against righties and only .225 against lefties. But this year, in about, what we have here, about 100 at-bats overall, Brian Anderson is hitting versus right-handed pitching. The right-handed batting Anderson's hitting .318 versus right-handed pitching in 66 at-bats. Think about that. And he's hitting a .154, Brian Anderson, against left-handed pitching in 22 at-bats. So for Ozzie, and Ozzie knows his personnel better than I do, obviously, and better than you do, and better than anybody else. Ozzie has opted to put on the bench the guy, Brian Anderson, who hits better versus right-handed pitching. Joe Cowley in a couple of minutes. Hey, I'm going to need, if you bowl, and everybody bowls from time to time, but if you're a regular bowler, you know, you're in a league or you get out there a lot or you used to bowl, I'm going to need you around 1:30 to give me a quick call. Why? You couldn't sit down and write fiction better than this new state law that I'm reading about today. Bowling shoe lawsuits could get the boot. Let's get to the phone lines. LaGrange, Illinois. Ed is next on the score. Hello, Ed.
Hey, Murph, how are you? Big fan.
Oh, thank you, Ed. You're at my old stomping grounds, LaGrange. What do you have for me?
Yeah, I'm actually a good friend of one of your old high school buddies, Bert.
Oh, say hello.
I will.
Thank you.
About this thing about the games behind that I first heard you say it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I thought, well, it makes sense. Then I started thinking more and more about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got to dispute your figures.
Sure.
You said, like, May 18th, the Sox would be 12 games out.
Total games behind. TGB. Yeah. Total games. They were 5.5 out in the regular standings that are printed in the paper. 12 total games behind. They had to leapfrog. They were in fourth place, 5.5, not second place. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, if they win one game, though, and the three teams ahead of them all lose.
Right, they pick up 3.
They're 9 together. They pick up 3 games.
Well, right. So, exactly. But, see, now you've hit the key. The odds are that often all 3 teams, you're playing right into this because the 3 teams above you often don't all lose in the same day.
Well, it can't happen, especially if interleague series.
Well, there you go even more. If they're playing and they're playing each other, someone's guaranteed a victory. All I'm saying is that when a fan or a player or a media guy says that a fifth-place team, is only 5 out, well, that's if the first-place team loses 5, you down near the bottom win 5. Yeah, you'll catch that team, but you ain't going to be in first place, are you?
No, you wouldn't be in first place. You're right there, Murph.
Right. So I'm not saying that this is the solving all after 150 years. All I'm saying is games behind only apply to the second-place team.
Okay, to break it down to that, but 12, I know,
Well,
when you say 12 back and then you pick one, you can win one, you pick up 3 games. Like, well,
right. Then they're right. Well, they've gone from 12 total games back in 2 weeks to 4 total games back, and now as a second place in the standings, the TGB equals the GB. You're exactly right. But as the Cubs entourage member told me, he says, but don't tell the players they're 8.5 back.
Well, I think that's a sad problem. You say 8.5 back.
Total games.
People
Total.
more upset, right?
Now remember, you got to use the word total games back.
Total games back.
I love it. Hey, Ed, great to visit with you.
Murph, okay.
Thank you very much. Caller Mike from Bloomington earlier today on the score, and you know what? He's basically right. So, well, let's listen. Caller Mike phoned in. He says to Hampton Homes, he says, I'm not a Cub fan, but...
Bloomington and Mike. Mike, good morning.
I'm not a Cubs fan, but I have no sympathy whatsoever. I don't think they're hamstrung in any way. They've gotten to spend the money for the last 2 or 3 years. When a team is hamstrung because of payroll, I think of Pittsburgh or Florida with a $30 million payroll, and they need that one bat to put them over the top.
Right.
The Cubs have a giant payroll. They've been allowed to spend the money, and for whatever reason, they haven't won for the last couple of years, and I think everybody knew when they were spending all that money on Soriano and Lee and Ramirez, et cetera, there would be a time that came when this team might struggle, and they might not have the money to spend. It was sort of selling the future for the now, but they didn't win. So I have no sympathy whatsoever. I just don't think the words hamstrung for a team with a $130 million payroll works.
All right, well thought out. That was caller Mike from Bloomington early today on the score. Hey, here's a news flash. I'm not a Cub fan, but I have no sympathy for the Cubs. All right, well, that's fine. We invite everybody to peek in, under the tent.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Not behind the curtain, right. Now, here's the thing. Everything that Mike said is true. But we have to remember one thing. In the winter, the last off season, Jim Hendry did have a trade for Peavy agreed upon by... So it appears from everything we hear, agreed upon by everybody. By Peavy, by the Padres, and by whoever owned the Cubs at that time, last winter. I guess it was still Sam Zell and his yellow submarine, right? But the point is, if you're a general manager and you build doesn't matter if you got a $500 million payroll or a $50 million payroll. That's not the discussion here, Mike from Bloomington. The point of the action is that the general manager, pick any team you wish, Yankees, Dodgers, whatever. He's under the belief in the winter that he's going to be able to add on something salary-wise, payroll-wise, come May, June, or July. Now, all of a sudden, that's been changed. So, to say I don't have sympathy for him, he's already got a big payroll, is missing the point. The point is the rules changed, it appears, midstream, now that Ricketts and Zell have not been able to come to agreement. Let's go real quick to Bill in Downers Grove. Then Joe Colley's going to join us to do some investigative reporting. I need some bowlers around 1:30. Hello, Bill in Downers Grove.
Hey, Murph, how you doing?
Good. You ever do much bowling? Are you in a league?
No, I am not.
Okay, then I won't ask you about the bowling shoes when they get wet. When you smoke a cigarette in the rain, you come in, and then your shoe screeches to a halt, and you trip, and you break a collarbone when you're trying to bowl because your shoe's wet from smoking outside, and then you want to sue the bowling alley. I'm not going to ask you that. We'll do that at 1:30.
Okay, any sport where you can drink and smoke at the same time is okay with me.
Well, that appears to be part of the problem. Bill, go ahead with your topic, please.
Murph, I heard your lineup tonight for the outfield, especially putting Reed Johnson in left field.
Yeah.
I say you leave him there and you trade Soriano.
Well, you know what? That's easier said than done, and B, in the long run, you're going to want production from Soriano. But right now, the knee's dinged up. Reed Johnson's on fire. Reed Johnson can hit lefties and righties. I want the Hoff at first base. I want Coy Hill behind the plate. Overall, I think Lou's got to step out and do a little, even if it's a 3-game shakeup, just to wake him up. I don't even care if they lose 3 in a row with this. I think it's time for him to do something.
I agree with you. Pinella's got to do something, and I'm afraid he may have to do something at the catcher position, too.
Well, yeah, Coy Hill should be back there every day until Coy Hill proves that Soto's better with his 150 or whatever he's in. Bill, I got to run. Thank you. But I like that, drinking, smoking, and bowling. Me? I have trouble doing 2 things at once, much less 3. Sports Radio 670 Joe Colley next at the score. It's Murph, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Murph till 2. Hey, in about 10, 15 minutes, we're going to open up the phones. Does anybody still bowl? Ah, are you kidding me? The bowling centers have never been more popular, I understand. Going to need to talk to some bowlers. Maybe we should get Joe the Duke Crispino. Get a legal look at it also. But first, ask Joe Colley to give us a call. Covers the White Sox for the Sun-Times. And the score, let's punch it up. Hey, it's Murph. Hello, Joe.
Hey, how you doing, Murph?
I'm fine. Busiest guy in baseball writer, Joe Colley. Joe, I know it's precious to have some time off. We always appreciate when you quick say, yeah, I got a few minutes to pick up the phone. Joe, I want to try to real quick defend something that occurred to my guy Pods. Scotty Podsednik did something in the 8th inning last night that I thought was very, very heads up, but some people might have looked at this and go, oh man, did he have a brain cramp on the bases? The situation, tie score 2-2, bottom of the 8th inning. Pods again draws a walk to get the rally going as he did in the 1st inning also. But here's where it gets sort of interesting, Joe Colley. He's on first, nobody out. He is the potential lead or therefore winning run in the 8th inning. Next hitter is Alexi Ramirez. Tries to bunt him over. Now, he fails on the first bunt, and then he fails on the second bunt, but he does bunt, maybe on his own, maybe from Ozzie, we don't know, doesn't matter. He does try that sacrifice bunt on, I think, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here, let's go to Comcast Sportsnet. The announcers thought that maybe Pods, wasn't in the game properly mentally. I thought Pods was trying to outsmart maybe if the pitcher was going to... Well, let's listen here.
And that is popped up and can't get him. So not a good at bat at all for Alexa. Taking 2 right down the middle.
I'm not sure why he'd have him bunt on the 3rd one, but I do know one thing. Scotty Pods just barely got back, and he knew that ball was popped up. Pretty close play at first. Now that ball's popped up. There's nothing to wait for.
All right, Comcast Sportsnet. Joe, I'm not a major league umpire, but there is a gray area, I believe, on a bunt. You're not allowed. We've had some high school umpires call in. They go, if you intentionally drop a bunt, it's a dead ball, batter out. But sometimes a pitcher can fake it or flat out just drop it on his own. Alexi did not run out of the box. How did you view all that at the time, please?
Well, I also know that Pods has a 2-week baby at home, so
okay.
he might be working on limited sleep. No, I think that's definitely something we have to ask him. To me, it looked like he was kind of caught in no man's land and thought Alexi might. Alexi actually does have pretty decent bunting ability, and even though he was going to gamble on the 2 strikes, there's so many numerous things that could have been going on. Pods has been blocked out and not seen exactly how close the pitcher was to it. I don't. That's definitely something that you have to ask him.
See, I want to defend Pods. My guess is that he read the situation, even maybe being sleep deprived, as I know you and we all are from time to time, but good point. But, Joe, I think he read the situation, saw that Alexi did not bust out of the box, upset probably, like anybody might be, that he popped up the 3rd strike, might have done it on his own, but you got to run it out. Since he didn't run it out, doesn't Pods have to factor in maybe that, hey, if this guy lets the ball drop, then he throws the first, and then they tag me, so I got to try to create a rundown. I just want to maybe defend that maybe Pods was the sly fox waiting in the weeds right there.
You know what? I'll ask him that today, and maybe we'll get to the bottom of that.
Beautiful. It's not the biggest thing to get to the bottom of, but I'm just here trying to keep an eye on everything. And, Joe, we appreciate your time. You do a great job in the Sun-Times. We love hearing your reports here on the score. Thank you very much, Joe.
All right, Murphy. Take care.
Appreciate it, bro. Gee, I didn't get a bro from Joe.
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow I'll get a bro from Joe. Sports Radio 670. Hey, when we return after the update, you're a bowler. You're in a bowling league. Do you know anything about these lawsuits? Smoked a cigarette, you got to go outside. It rains, you come in, your shoe sticks at the line, you do a header, you break the collarbone. I'm suing everybody. Sports Radio 670, the score. Murph, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Bowlers, 644-644-6767. Is this a big problem? From today's Tribune. Several dozen lawsuits have been filed against bowling alleys in Illinois since the statewide smoking ban took effect last year. This according to Bill Duff, Executive Director of the Illinois State Bowling Proprietors Association. The ban forced customers, that would be bowlers, outside of the bowling center to light up. Accidents increased when they came back inside. You see, it's a leather sole, says one bowling center owner. It's a leather sole. You don't want it to get wet. You go to slide, you have to have some, you get moisture on that leather sole. You're going to stick and lurch forward. So state of Illinois lawmakers, as if they didn't have enough to worry about, by lopsided margins, legislators passed a bill that protects bowling centers from customers who step outside in their bowling shoes for a quick smoke, get their shoes wet if it's raining, come back in, fall when they get inside when they start bowling, and want to sue the bowling center. Unbelievable, but let's find out if this is really happening. Elgin Craig is a bowler, he claims. Hello, Craig.
How you doing, Murph?
Good, Craig. Now, you get out there. Are you in a league? You just bowl from time to time, but you are a bowler, right?
Yes, I'm in the league.
Let me ask you. So you own your own shoes and your own ball, of course?
Yes.
All right. Have you heard from Elgin? Give your bowling center a plug if you wish there.
Bowl at Elgin Lane.
All right. Have you heard about this problem since the no smoking indoors ban went into effect?
The guys in our league usually change back into their street shoes when they need to go out and smoke.
Well, there's a good idea, right?
That's right.
You take your shoes off. Maybe if you go out there, you got some flip-flops, you got some sandals, you got some slippers, you wear your street shoes. You don't go to the center in your bowling shoes. Last I looked, you put them on when you get there.
That's right.
So if you're really in a hurry to go grab a smoke and it's raining, and then you break your collarbone, whose fault would that be, do you think? The bowling center?
No, that'd be the bowler's fault, Murph. The center I've been in has a sign that says, don't wear wet shoes down by the alley.
Don't wear wet shoes down by the alley, comma, you moron.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's my sign. Thank you, Craig.
All right, thanks, Murph.
Only 9 went down, as I hear. Which one's still standing? Old joke. Let's go to, I didn't complete the joke. Al from Addison. Hello, Al.
Hey, Murph, how are you?
Good, Al. Long-time bowler?
Yes, sir. The only one standing was a 10-pin, if you were
I could tell by listening, not by looking, if you know what I mean. All right, Al, you're a long-time bowler. Have you seen anybody? What's your home center there, bowling center?
Ours is, it's a Brunswick zone. It's in Addison.
All right. Now, are you a smoker?
No, absolutely not. But my teammates all are, and they all run out. Matter of fact, they got a rule set in the league. Mm-hmm. After every game, they give them 5 minutes that they can go out and smoke a cigarette. It's in our rules. They can go out after every. We have to. If you're a non-smoker,
right,
you have to wait till the smokers come back in to continue your next game.
All right, Al, let me ask you, and I like that story, but let me ask you this. Let's say someone spills a 7-Up or a cola, or God forbid, because you never want to spill beer, but let's say someone spills a little something right in front of the line there, where you release the ball. Would that be pretty much stop everything and mop this up and get it nice and dry, right?
We always do, Murphy. And
because
the guys spill beer all the time.
I hate that. I hate when that happens.
You gotta always look at the bottom of your shoe. We always clean up because
why?
They're all serious bowlers. Nobody wants to fall on the lane and kill themselves.
What would happen if the bottom of your leather bowling shoe gets wet for those that have never bowled? What happens?
Oh, as you're walking up, your left foot stops and your body goes flying.
Yeah.
You do a swan dive out of the lane.
Right. So if someone was a regular bowler and his shoes got wet for whatever reason, would you say it's his own fault for breaking his collarbone?
Absolutely. They're ding-dongs. You know what? This bowling alley should sue them for stupidity.
I love that. Sue them for stupidity. That's terrific.
You're absolutely correct.
Thank you, Addison Al.
All right. Take care, Murph.
All right. Right here in the Tribune. Several dozen lawsuits. Not several lawsuits. Several dozen lawsuits have been filed against bowling alleys, as it says here, since the statewide smoking ban took effect. The ban forced customers, bowlers, outside to light up their cigarette. And when it rains, they come in, and, well, it's not a pretty sight. I'm told to go to the next line as Jerry, a car phone, has a special viewpoint here. Hello, Jerry.
Hi, Murph. How you doing?
Good. Jerry, are you more than just a casual bowler, I understand?
Yeah, I bowl professionally, but I also own a bowling center.
And, Jerry, were you ever involved in any of this type of, I don't want to get you, in any legal trouble, but is this something that you were aware of that's been happening?
It's definitely something we are aware of. The problem is, Murph, is when they come out, and they come back into the bowling center after they go out and have a smoke.
Right.
It's when they stick at the foul line, it's when they fall over the foul line and land on the lane which has oil or dressing on it. That's when they severely get hurt because they can't control their balance.
Now, oil and water don't mix. Even I remember that.
No, right. But see, the thing is, these guys have slippers that they can put over the bowling shoes, and they have shoes. But the thing is, it's not always when it's just raining, guys.
Right.
It's sometimes that the ground is moist and it's not raining out.
Well, right.
So,
it could be just condensation.
Right.
It could be a foggy. Now, do you feel that some bowling center owners have their own? Are you thinking that maybe to have your own slippers would be a good remedy for this?
Well, the good bowler, the slippers come with their good shoes.
Right.
They have a certain brand shoe. They do have the slippers come with them. But we're trying to do it for the average bowler, the 1 week bowler that might go outside and have that casual smoke while they're in a hurry. So our concern is if you think of ice skating or if you think of roller skating, those people are protected when they have skates on. We're not protected when they have bowling shoes on. Now we are.
Were you aware of this, the state lawmakers, Illinois, before adjourning? I'm reading the Tribune, scored a strike for bowling lanes by a lopsided margin. Legislators passed a bill that protects the bowling centers from this happening. Were you aware of this, Jerry, or is this something new to you today about the new law?
No, we were very aware of it. We knew it was on the table.
And I leave you with this. Do you have a sign that says, don't go outside in your bowling shoes and get them wet, because if you come back in, well, frankly, you're not thinking clearly. Signed, the management.
Well, pretty much it says that to a degree, yes.
Jerry, did you wish to plug your bowling center?
Sure. It's Liberty Lanes in Carpentersville.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Murph. Take care.
All right, buddy. This hour brought to you by Menards. See, Jay, you said that we would not get any callers from bowling folks. No, you never said. Hey, let me hear that bowling sound effect again. That was great. In the alley, in the lane, right there, dead center, on the Brooklyn side. Rick from, I like where they put those things in there now where you can't hit the gutter, for the kids. Now do they have those for everybody? Hello, Rick in Oak Forest. It's Murphy on the score. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Murph. How you doing? I'm just going to make a really quick comment.
Yeah.
Every time a bowler gets injured and filed a lawsuit for walking outside in his shoes, I pulled a hamstring before because my shoe got wet. I didn't sue the bowling alley. I just healed and got over it. But the bowling alley, when the report is filed, should have a breathalyzer test for every bowler because 90% of them are drunk.
Well, that would be about 90%. No, I don't want to say that, but isn't that fun to have 1 or 2 beers while you're bowling under the limit, though? That's part of the camaraderie, right?
Then some of them just take it too far.
What's it called? The 10th. What's it called when you have the bowling frame at the end? Whoever wins, everybody loses. If you lose, you buy everybody a round of beer. That's what you do, right?
Right, but it gets way too carried away sometimes in some leagues. So
I hear you.
Most likely they're drunk and they decided not to take their shoes off, and that's what causes most of the accidents. But they shouldn't have to be sued at all.
Well, it didn't help when they tied the 2 shoes together by accident when they were putting them back on for the next frame, right?
Before I even hurt myself on my shoes, I got hit with a bowling ball that someone dropped. So,
oh no! Where did it land? Right on the big toe or the little toe?
No, on my ankle.
Oh, on your ankle.
Oh no!
Thanks, Rick. Oh, 644-6767. We'll get back to bowling lawsuits in a few minutes. You know what? I was hoping to get to this today. We might not have time. Jay Zawoski, we still have our top 10 music back in there from David Letterman show.
Yeah, let me round it up
pull
here.
that up there when you get a moment. Steve Johnson, did you see this? Oh, by the way, I really enjoyed Conan last night. I thought Conan did terrific. The opening 2-3 minutes, sort of cliche, but where he realized, I'm working in L.A. Did you see? And he ran like nonstop from New York to L.A. Pretty sort of cliche, but pretty cool the way they did it. All right, I'm stealing this from Steve Johnson in the Tribune today. Now that the Chicago Cubs are removing the battered Gatorade machine from the dugouts, here's his top 10 list of things that could be replaced with. Number 10, a Nerf cooler. Number 9, a square of high jump landing mat material. Just punch it. Here's my favorite. Number 8, Tony La Russa face punching bag. Boom! Take that, Tony. Boom! While he's having a steak dinner as part of PETA and says he doesn't eat meat. Number 6, replace it with a sheet of drywall. Some drywall held by players on each end. Clinical psychologist with a couch. The world's largest marshmallow. Here's the one. Here's my favorite. Instead of having the Gatorade dispenser right there, have a good job, Steve Johnson in the Tribune. Have a crash test dummy, like in the car test. Crash test dummy dressed like a major league umpire. That'd be great.
No, that's not funny.
Me? I'm thinking, you know what? How about instead of bright orange, they should have painted the thing camouflage color. No one would have seen it. Well, then the sponsor wouldn't have wanted it, right? Or, those dog collars? And they've got the little underground wire planted in your backyard so that when the little doggy gets too far, when your dog gets to the property line, zaps him, and he doesn't ever cross the line. How about that? Each cub wear one of those little zapping collars. When they get too near the Gatorade, Pete's a truck phone next on the score. Hello, Pete.
Hello, how you doing, Murph?
Good, Pete. You're a bowler, I understand.
Yes, I am a bowler, and I also work part-time at a bowling center.
Perfect. Has this been a big problem with people filing lawsuits because they go outside to grab a ciggy butt? It's wet, it's been raining, and they come in with the wet leather, and they fall, and they slip, and they break a bone, and they're going to sue somebody. Has that happened in your experience?
Well, it hasn't happened at our center yet. Actually, one other little thing that can happen, aside from the people stepping outside to have a smoke, is seeing as how we live up here in the northern climes where parking lots tend to get full of snow, ice, and other stuff during the winter months. You have, the bowlers coming in to, bowl league or during their leisure time bowling. They track in snow or wet on their shoes, and they, they'll sit down to put their bowling shoes on.
So
and somebody else walks through the area and gets their wet that, they've already got on, and they never notice that stuff.
Well, here's what you need. You need one of those emergency, cones, like an orange or yellow emergency cone from the IDOT, the Highway Department, and you got to put it not only by the front door, you got to put it in. How many lanes do you have there? 36, 24, 36?
24.
24 lanes? You got to get 24 of those emergency cones and put them right on the line on each one. Be careful. Could be wet. Don't sue our ass.
Well, we do have a sign right by the front door whenever it snows that says, walk with your bowling shoes on at your own peril.
Oh, boy. Hey, you know what? I have enough trouble bowling, much less bowling in wet shoes. Truck phone Pete, what's the name of your center there? Where are you at? Where's your home center?
In Belleville, Wisconsin.
Belleville, Wisconsin. No beer up there, I hear, right? Thank you very much.
That's no good.
Murphapalooza, Sports Radio 670. It's the score. Back in a flash. Todd Hollandsworth. I agreed with Todd today. Stop the press.
The National League, boy, it so much centers around good old country hardball and fastballs and setting up your off-speed pitches. That just seems like how it works over in the National League.
Wow, Todd Hollandsworth and Mullen Hanley. Next Tuesday, we'll have John DeWan give us the numbers. He's got velo, velocity, find out which league throws more fastballs and which league throws faster fastballs. Wow, can he do all that? Murph Stan, thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. Later, everybody.
Thank you. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you. See you later. Bye-bye.
I'm really tired. I really don't have much to say anymore. Just tired. I'm tired. Done. Mentally drained. Let's go home.
Peace, love, and happiness, my man.